Alright, so the final game of this opening weekend's action have just finished, and in the end, this was probably the most surprising result of the opening weekend's action in this 2021 MLS season, as the Vancouver Whitecaps, or shall I say a shorthanded Vancouver Whitecaps team, took down the Portland Timbers in this game, and it's also safe to say that teams that were involved in CCL during the middle of the week, and all five of those teams that moved on into the quarterfinal of CCL this season, yeah, all of them had a relatively rough week this week for their season opener, as all five of them weren't able to grab a win. We had three teams that grabbed a draw on the opening weekend, and also two of them lost their opening weekend's action, and one of them include the Portland Timbers that, of course, lost this game against the Vancouver Whitecaps. Now, I want to first talk about TSN and how they decided to pump in some fake crowd noises and chant during this game. And, yesterday when they decided to broadcast the Canadian Classic between Montreal and Toronto, I didn't really hear a lot of fake crowd noises during that game, and it was definitely refreshing, the fact that they decided to do that, because I already mentioned how many times I really do not like some of these fake crowd noise that these major networks decide to pump into their game, and especially I hate the fact that FS1 is still doing these fake crowd noises, even though there's actually fans in the stands right now. And this game, it seemed like TSN not only pumped in some fake crowd noises and chant in this game, but they pumped in very loudly throughout this game. And these fake crowd noises that they pumped in not only was bad, but it was probably even worse than what I hear from FS1 and ESPN. I mean, I'm not quite sure what they decided to do in terms of the fake crowd noise, but it seemed like they had maybe a small collection of chant that the Vancouver Whitecaps supporter group, the Southsiders, kind of sent it to TSN, and they basically just kind of play it throughout the game. But they probably did not have a lot of lists of chant, because I swear there was some chant in this game. I heard it like 5 times in a span of just 30 minutes. I think one of them was that John Denver song called Take Me Home Country Road. Like, I swear I heard like 5 times of that in the first half, and it was just getting annoying, the fact that I was hearing the same old song. And not to mention the whoever was singing that song, it was kind of a little bit cringy of how he sing that song. But yeah, it was just really terrible, and it was just really hard to kind of watch this game while listening to this fake crowd noise, and also listening to the TSN broadcasting commentating this game, which tonight it was Luke Walton and Steve Caldwell that was commentating this game, which I'm kind of surprised, because I thought it was Peter Schott, the one that was going to commentate this game, because for the Whitecaps, their main commentator team is usually going to be Peter Schott, and then the other color commentator that I actually forgot what his name is. But for Luke Walton and Steve Caldwell, they usually only commentate TFC game or Montreal game occasionally. But going back to this game, Jimmy Chara did look like give the Timbers the opening goal in the 7th minute, but the goal was disallowed for offside, before Steve Clark on the other end had to deny Caicedo from a long-range effort. And I thought in the first 15 minutes of this game, it was a very fast pace between both of these teams. There was some end-to-end action that happened in the first 15 minutes. In the 15th minute, Valeri did put a long-range shot that just went wide off the net. The Whitecaps were dominating the possession early on, but they didn't really create much going forward on the attacking end. And with that possession, I mean, they were crossing the ball a lot in that first half, and most of those crosses are pretty much aiming to nobody, which, if you're a Whitecaps fan, that is kind of concerning, the fact that they just keep crossing the ball, and that, it's one thing to cross the ball into dangerous area, but it's another to just keep crossing the ball and basically crossing it to no one, or just crossing the ball and it's easily cleared away by the opposition. Now, Valeri also had a cross in the 34th minute to hope to maybe generate a chance for the Timbers, but what happened in this cross, it was actually deflected off of Andy Rose that was trying to block this one away, and as that one deflected off of him, it actually struck the post, and that, I think Andy Rose is probably happy the fact that that one hits the post, because that, if that one went in, that would have been an own goal on him, and the Timbers would have got the opener in this game. Then Darren Espirich was able to hit a long range shot that was thundering over toward goal, but unfortunately Craig Bow was able to tip one over. I thought Aspria once again had a very good game in this one, which is kind of interesting. The fact that I swear I feel like Darren Aspria is trying to prove a lot of doubters wrong, and said that I can still perform with this Timbers team even though it's not October. But if there's one thing that we know about Darren Aspria is that he's not allowed to score goals unless it's October, and that he also did try to maybe silence that claim in the first minute of stoppage time when he tried to do a bicycle kick goal, but unfortunately it went a little bit high. I mean, if that one went in, that would definitely go into the contention of a long list of contention this week in terms of goal of the week. And as I said before, whoever is going to be in charge of picking who's going to be goal of the week, or I think it's actually the fans that actually choose who is going to win goal of the week. But yeah, I feel like the fans are going to have a very, very tough choice. Or maybe it's Atlanta United fans decide to just stuff the vote that one of their goals that they scored this week is going to win goal of the week. But obviously that ain't going to happen because Atlanta did not score a goal this week against Orlando City. But moving on into the second half, Andy Rose hit the post in the 47th minute and almost give the Whitecaps the opening goal. But then on the very next sequence of play, Cavallini was able to score from Gutierrez from the corner, and this was just poor marking from the Portland Timbers. Like, the last guy you need to leave wide open to have a free header in the box is Lucas Cavallini, and the fact that the Timbers basically left him completely unmarked in the back post is definitely criminal, and pretty much deserve the fact that they can see that goal, as Cavallini made no mistake to give the Whitecaps a 1-0 lead. Then the Timbers did try to press to get an equalizer in this game. Before in the 77th minute, Jeff Antonello actually had to come in for Steve Clark in this game. And apparently Steve Clark, a couple of minutes ago when he was trying to clear the ball away after Cavallini was trying to press him there to maybe trying to win the ball, I think he kind of overextended his knee as he's trying to clear that ball away, and because of that, he of course was forced to be subbed off in this game. And as I mentioned, Jeff Antonello able to come in for the Timbers and play for the last 13 minutes. And also it's going to be interesting to see how serious the injury to Steve Clark in terms of the thigh injury that he had to come out. And Jeff Antonello is not a bad choice. I mean, Antonello used to be the starting goalkeeper for this Timbers team before Steve Clark kind of won the job away from him. But I think if you're a Timbers fan, you're hoping Steve Clark is not going to be out for a long spell of period. Then in the 83rd minute, this is when probably one of the weirdest, but also kind of the most confusing part of the game, and one of the more confusing thing that happened during this opening weekends of action. So apparently, it looked like Christian Dahomey got the insurance goal for the Whitecaps and got the goal that pretty much gave the Whitecaps all 3 points here. But then VAR basically go look at to see whether or not if Andy Rose actually handball this one and kind of set this one to Dahomey to basically hits that one for about 7 yards out. And when I look on the replay of that, yeah, it was pretty clear that Andy Rose kind of handballed this one and sit this one right on the play for Dahomey. And I think Steve Clark basically mentioned this instant, and I cannot believe how he keeps saying that there's no way that is a handball. Like, what are you watching, Steve? Like, you can clearly see Rose basically trying to bring that ball down with his hand and basically set up right on a platter for Dahomey to score that one. So I couldn't believe what he was actually trying to say, and I'm guessing that was kind of like a little bit of a homer stand that he was trying to take. But either way, when they go to VAR to see whether or not indeed that, of course, is this case, it is the case, and they rightfully so disallowed the goal. So you would think that was pretty much the end of that, right? Well, a couple of minutes later, Luke Walton then mentioned how MLS actually was not looking at that play as the reason why this goal by Dahomey was disallowed, and they were actually saying that it was an offside call, that they were actually looking that one of the Whitecaps player, which in the end it was Jake Nowinski, the player that they think that he was in an offside position, and that's why that goal was disallowed. But then when they showed the replay of that instant, Nowinski was not only nowhere near the play, but he was not even in an offside position. So I was thinking, well, what's going on? Like, are they even looking at the right play, right? Like, that is the reason why this goal has been disallowed. Like, anyway, it was just very confusing to see what's going on right there. But either way, I think, this, even if this was not if the original look where they were looking to see whether or not if Nowinski was in an offside position is incorrect, I still think that they did get the decision right with the way that Andy Rose clearly handballed this one and set this one on the plate for Dahomey to score that one. Now, the Timbers did start to press to trying to get the equalizer, although there was a very strange situation where Savarese decided to sub off Diego Valeri for a defender, and I actually put 3 question mark because I was kind of shocked the fact that Savarese was putting on a defender in this game and in replace of his captain, and you can clearly see Valeri was not happy about that when he came off the bench. But then in the 89th minute, Crépeau was able to absolutely rob Felipe Mora, who had a close range effort that was saved by Crépeau. Before, in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, Jom did try to do a Randall Leao and try to maybe hit like a cross shot toward Crépeau's net, but unfortunately that one sails just a little bit wide, and I think Crépeau is very happy the fact that is the case, because if that one was able to dip a little bit more, just like what we saw with Randall Leao did in that game against Cincinnati, yeah, that we would have been seeing another replica goal of a player able to score a kind of cross shot or show I say kind of like a short kind of goal doing that play. But either way, that was kind of the final action of this game, as in the end, the Whitecaps able to get a surprising 1-0 victory against the Timbers. As the shots in this game, not a lot of shots in this one, only 8 shots compared to 6 that the Whitecaps had. Both teams had 2 shots on goal, 1 shot off target compared to 4 that the Timbers had, 3 shots that was blocked compared to 2 that the Timbers had, and possession-wise, 51% possession compared to 49% possession that the Timbers had in this game. And if you're Portland, there's going to be a little bit concerned now, the fact that, this was a game that you hope that you can get a win in this one, knowing the fact that, the next game against Houston and then the following game, you probably might have to rest some of your starter and kind of punt that game away, knowing the fact that you want to rest a lot of these starters for that big quarterfinal game in the CONCACAF Champions League against Club America. But now, if they're going to have to do the same thing, they could potentially start the season 0-3, and this is right after when I predicted them to finish first a couple of days ago. And I said before where I won't be surprised if I'm gonna already second thought myself in terms of the prediction that I made a couple of days ago of who actually finished where in the standings, and I'm already starting to second guess myself with the ways that some of this team like the Portland Timbers are going to probably be getting off to a bad start, unless if they're going to do something like what their hated Cascadia rival Seattle Sounders is going to do and make a great recovery either in the latter part of the first half of the season or maybe in the second half of the season. Yeah, maybe I probably shouldn't have picked the Timbers to finish first in the Western Conference in that prediction. But either way, we'll see how they're going to do in the next couple of games. And for the Whitecaps, what a win this was, and probably an unexpected win with the way that, again, this was a very shorthand the Whitecaps team, and the fact that they were able to get all 3 points against a very hot Timbers attack is definitely very impressive and kind of very surprising to see. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it for the review of this game. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this game, and also what do you think of all the action that happened in the opening weekend of the MLS season? I mean, it's been a great start to the 2021 MLS season. We have already seen a lot of crazy goals and a lot of crazy action that has happened from this week. And keep in mind, this is only week 1 of 34 of this season, so hopefully maybe as we get to these next couple of weeks, or pretty much for the remainder of the season, this is not just a week where it's going to be a one-off, where we're going to continue to see something that we always say, it's kind of peak MLS, where chaos is basically something that this league always generate. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, make sure you guys do a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.